Hello, friends! Welcome back to our channel, where we bring you the most motivating and inspiring stories from around the world. Today's story is about a man named Nick Vujicic. He was born without arms or legs. When he looked at himself in the mirror, he saw only a torso with a head and some basic human features. In addition, he had no limbs. But even though everyone said he wouldn't make it, he proved them wrong. Today, Nick Vujicic is famous all over the world, and millions of people follow him. Why? Because he teaches people how to be happy and how to never give up on their dreams. So let's begin the story. Nick was born in Australia, but his parents were from Serbia. As soon as Nick's mother saw her baby, she started crying. She didn't want to be too harsh on her newborn son, so she told her husband that Nick was very beautiful and that he should have all the love of the family. But she couldn't stop crying. The nurses also tried to comfort her by saying that Nick was indeed a strong boy, but still they couldn't help her. And this moment was the beginning of a long journey for Nick. At the age of 6, Nick learned to speak and started asking questions like other children. His mother would answer him patiently and do everything she could to make Nick feel loved. When he asked her why he didn't have arms or legs, she lied to protect him. She said that these body parts can be removed because they are not useful. When Nick grew up, he realized that his mother's lie was just an attempt to protect him. He understood her and forgave her. But Nick's life wasn't easy. Other kids used to laugh at him, call him names, and ask why he looked like a monster. Every time Nick heard such things, he wanted to end his life. But every time he looked at his mother, he saw that she always smiled. Even when she felt sad, she hid it well. Nick didn't want to disappoint her, so he decided to live. When Nick turned 10, he visited a psychologist. The doctor told him that there were other people like him, and that they lived normal lives, went to school, and even became popular. Nick started believing that he could do great things too. At first, his classmates reacted negatively to him, but after they got to know him, they accepted him. They helped him with his homework and invited him to birthday parties. Nick also started swimming and playing soccer. He even joined the school choir. It seems that nothing could stop him. But then he began experiencing rejection. In high school, Nick's classmates started treating him badly again. They called him names and made fun of him behind his back. Once again, Nick's life became unbearable. No one wanted to talk to him. He felt depressed and stopped going to school. Nick spent all his time at home listening to music. One day he attempted suicide. Luckily, his mother found out about it and took him to see a psychologist. The doctor told Nick that if he wanted to change something in his life, he needed to take action. These words motivated Nick to start fighting for his place in this world. He graduated from high school and later from university. During his studies, Nick met a girl named Anna Marie. She fell in love with Nick and didn't care that he didn't have arms or legs. After graduating from university, Nick and Anne-Marie got married. Soon they had 2 wonderful children, a boy and a girl. Nick changed his worldview. He started seeing only opportunities rather than obstacles. This attitude towards life helped him become successful. Nick now travels all over the world, giving lectures and telling people not to give up. He says that we must learn to accept ourselves the way we are, and not to think that people with disabilities are different. We need to focus on what we can do, not what we can't. Now, Nick is a rich man. He has more than 4 million followers on Instagram. Everyone loves him, but it wasn't always like this. This story reminds us that we shouldn't judge people by their appearance. Also, we must believe in ourselves, even when others don't. If you believe in yourself, you can achieve anything. Don't ever give up. Remember, you are amazing just the way you are. Believe in yourself and your dreams. If you do, you will succeed. Now I will tell you another story about a man who believed in himself and became great. This is the story of David Goggins. David was born in Buffalo, New York. His father left the family when David was still very young, so his mother had to raise him alone. She worked as a nurse and often had to work overtime. David's stepfather was a cruel man who often beat David and his brother. Life was hard for David. When he was 9 years old, his mother died. From that moment on, David lived with his grandmother. He was overweight and didn't get along with other children. They laughed at him and called him names, but David didn't cry. Instead, he trained hard and became stronger than anyone else. When he was in high school, David started boxing. He soon became the best in the school team. David knew that he was strong, but he wanted to become even stronger. So he joined the army. After serving in Iraq, David became an officer. But he still wasn't satisfied with himself. He wanted to be the best. That's when David met a man named Mark Devine. Mark was a Navy SEAL. He trained future special forces. Under Mark's guidance, David became a completely different person. David now woke up before dawn and immediately ran to complete the tasks Mark assigned him. David swam long distances, climbed mountains, and completed exhausting marches. He trained his body and mind, and this training made him much stronger. But one day, David's life changed. He was injured and couldn't continue his service. David returned home and started drinking alcohol. He couldn't find his place in life. One day, David met a man named Rich. Rich was a businessman. He was successful and had a lot of money. But Rich noticed that David had great potential and offered him a job. Rich hired David and gave him a new task every day. David worked hard and proved himself to be a reliable employee. But even this work wasn't enough for David. He wanted more. Then David remembered the training he had gone through. He decided to use his strength and endurance to achieve great results. David trained hard and soon broke several world records. He ran 100 miles in less than 24 hours. He also swam across the cold waters of California and completed ultra-long distance runs in the hottest deserts. David became famous, and people started to notice him. They invited him to various shows and competitions. David won everywhere. But David didn't stop there. He wrote several books and opened his own training center. Today, David is a successful businessman and one of the best trainers in the world. He helps people become stronger, not just physically, but also mentally. David believes that everyone can achieve great results if they set a goal and work towards it. He knows that no matter how difficult the task may seem, it is possible to complete it. David's story proves this. David was an ordinary guy who grew up in difficult conditions. He was bullied at school and didn't know what his purpose in life was. But David didn't give up. He worked hard to improve himself and eventually became the best. Now he inspires millions of people around the world. Friends, these are the stories of people who believed in themselves and achieved great results. Maybe you also face difficulties and people don't believe in you, but don't be discouraged. Believe in yourself. If you do, you will succeed. Remember, the greatest success comes to those who believe in themselves and their dreams. I hope these stories inspired you. Write in the comments which story you liked best, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you later. Bye.